Today is a lovely Tuesday morning. The sun is not very out to be harsh to the environment and to me, and I'm not feeling very healthy. Having some malaria. Okay, now let's get to it. This is on this video on how to troubleshoot a multiple cylinder misfire. Could be on any car, but I'm gonna be brand specific on this one here, and the reason is I've come in contact with a problem like this with Toyota, and it wasn't the same. So now let me get you into my scanner. Before that, I want to say this tutorial is meant for the bush brains, especially for bush brains in Nigeria who are scared, who claim to be a mechanic, who come here to steal information from me and go around the top when I'm just a AC mechanic. And secondly, they also discourage customers from buying VW cars and most German cars that they have a bunch of electrical issues. So let me lecture you bush brains on how to fix this kind of problem and some other problem you might be encountering with your electrical with your VW cars. I'm not going to tell you that I'm completely 100% VW specialist, but as it is right now, I would say I'm VW specialist in Nigeria, in a sense that when it has engine problem, I could be able to proficiently diagnose it and figure it out and solve it. Piece of cake. And if it has electrical issues, I'm also going to figure that out and get it solved. If it has AC issue, I'm also going to figure that out and get it fixed. If you have computer related issue, which I know that you bush brain cannot be able to solve, it's still the same thing with me. Now, this guy who bought this car was somehow scared of buying this car because of the previous mechanic. Okay, I have to help this guy to purchase this car, not only to purchase this car, but to get it back in order, back on the road. Now, the first thing I want to look out for when I'm troubleshooting or when I'm trying to buy a car, against all odds of the Nigerian renegade mechanic or bush brains, is the mileage. A lot of them are good at tampering with the mileage. And the second thing I want to look out for, I'm not such a fast changer like most of them are, like which they quickly got this one changed. I am 100% sure that this is not because of this engine misfire, but that is where a lot of them goes. So it can be anything. It can be this one actually. It can be injectors. It can be spark. But it's just the computer is just pointing you towards that direction, so you can have a scope of where to focus on, so you can get the problem fixed. It's just giving you an idea. So now let's go to my scan tool. This is what I got, and you can see it, multiple engine cylinder 1. Actually, it was specific. It says cylinder 1, so implausible. There are some others on the voltage, combination CAN balls, combination comfort CAN balls, multifunction steering, control module combination. So that problem's actually there. I realized that as soon as I tied the steering to the right side, it does make a beep noise. So the front wheel. Now, what I want to tell you guys is I am much more confident and much more relaxed. It is more easy for me fixing German cars than Asian cars. A lot of you guys are going to say, what? But that's true. The reality there is, with my scan tool and with me knowing exactly what I'm looking out for, I'm not going to misfire with the engine that is having a multiple cylinder misfire. I'm just going to go straight right there where I know the problem is going to be and get it solved. Okay, now let's get the computer side aside and apply this logic to the realistic situation. Okay, the first thing you want to do is to pop up the cover. It has two tabs here and another one here. Remember what I told you, you've got to check the mileage. Now for the bush brain, you can see that the tabs here, it's even a very big problem for them to actually know how to remove the to get the tab without damaging it. But look at it, they have actually damaged it, and thank God it's still intact, so it doesn't create any loose contact. Now for the first simple method of diagnosing a multiple engine misfire, I presume that this is going to be cylinder 1 or this, but it should be this. If this is cylinder 1, the request of many others is you should swap between this and this, or this and this, and see if it's going to jump to the next cylinder. But in a case where you have done that and it doesn't work out, the next thing you're going to be looking at is your injectors. I didn't have my injector scope here, so I can be able to put it and show you the reading which I'm going to be showing. Now on this car, it's equipped with turbo and air pump. I don't know how you guys call that, but I'm gonna research and still get to it later, but that's not the topic on this video here. Now some other issues which the computer picked up is a bad I think that should be air intake temperature sensor, which I'm sure is here. You should be having bank 1 and bank 2 because one is here, they have another one over there. Okay, so on the diagnostics, if you swap this and this continues, the next thing you want to do is to get this up, all right, and inspect the sparks. And inspect the sparks. Now in my own case, everything which I needed to do here, I have actually done it. I'm just trying to teach you what to do when you are diagnosing a multiple engine misfire. Then when it's specific, that is cylinder 1, I want you to look at this. This is broken, right? And if this socket right here didn't connect very well, it's gonna be giving the ECU a very a faulty signal about that cylinder 1. So it's still on the ignition side. So if you hurried up and go and get it replaced like this guy did, a lot of you replace parts mechanics do, you still haven't solved the problem. It's still giving you the multiple cylinder misfire. Okay, so if this one is addressed, which I recommend you to get another very good socket of this very type and get it replaced. The second thing you want to look out for is the sparks. And for the sparks, you're going to be needing 16mm socket, 3/8 extension, and a ratchet. That should be able to do it. Now let's go to it. You get it inserted, and you have it right there, and torque it just backwards. This is forward clockwise, anti-clockwise is to lose it. So okay, so let's get this one up since it's complaining that this is actually where the problem is, and see the spark. Now what I want to show you guys here is removing the spark. In some cases very necessary, and you should use that very opportunity to actually check the healthiness of the other sparks. Now let me take you somewhere that's going to be interesting in be able to be able to figure out exactly what the problem is, and that is sitting right in front of you. One is there is oil leaks. All right, there is oil leaks around this cover, top pan here, the crank cover here, the cam cover here. Now what does that tell you as a service technician? Most of you guys are going to be feeling, oh, that is unrelated, that is unrelated. Of course it's related. What I'm trying to say here is, in solving car issues, not only going about the engine, you also have to psychologically evaluate the person that owns the car. How good is he contrast to maintaining his car? If he's a terrible person, I mean someone who doesn't maintain his car very often, then it's up for you to get a broader spectrum of what the problem could be and not based on what you think the problem could be. So you assess the person psychologically. If he passed the psychological test, then the next thing you want to be doing, you have a less problem to worry about, less you have less issues to worry about. But if you analyze him and he's not such kind of a person who doesn't who does frequently maintain the car, then I think that is where you gotta get rigorous. Now let's go to the dash. Okay, you can see on the dash here it has 183 mileage on it. And what does that tell you as a service technician, as a mechanic, as a bush brain, or as a expert? That with that rubber seal, let's go back to the engine. I missed one point. Before going back to the engine, I want you to take a look at the passenger side of the door, the upholstery there. Let me get you a close shot. That is what the Renegade Mechanics does. So these alone can tell me the kind of people that he's been working with, and they are not my own kind of people. The other two sides of the door have issue, and I've got them resolved, and you can see how nice and clean it is. The driver's side, the same thing. Although on this side here, if we have to walk and get this one back, we have to replace this entire unit, including the one that is inside. Okay, with that checked, so if he couldn't mind to replace this top this thing here that's actually causing the leak and leaking oil all over down there, which if you actually don't know very well, you might think that there is another problem. Now in my own analysis I discussed here, this is not soft, and for it not being soft and broken off like that, as you can see it chip off like that, it means this is leaking there, and this man is not a constant maintenance man. He just drives the car in as much as the car doesn't give drivability issues. So in this case, I took the diagnostic to another level. Now in Nigeria here, we don't have we might have it, but it's pretty much expensive. Now these are the previous parts that was recovered from this car, and this, in your own ideology, you might be thinking that the sparks are firing fine, right? But in my own analogy, these sparks are retarded. Let me still show you one more. And you have this one. So you have different set of mist plugs inside the same engine. Let me still go on this one here. That is NGK right there, and that is Denso, normal, whatever, common spark. Let's go to the next one here. This one is not okay, this is NGKR. Let's look at it. So possibly this is the one that I recovered from cylinder one. Now what I'm trying to say is, these up sparks are foiled based on the mileage that is on the dash, and I'm not sure that the tech guy or the mechanic who fixed this car the last time they are troubleshooting it think about replacing them with a brand new sparks. Instead, they're jumping between one spark plug, used one, to another, and therefore causing the engine to misfire. Now I have replaced it, cleared the codes, and I drove it just a little bit yesterday. So let's look at the ideal situation of the spark, which I just got into the system, and you can see it right there. Now the spark does not only give you a precise information on what to look out for in a state of engine misfiring. The spark also gives you how healthy the engine is performing, how healthy the fuel is burning, how healthy the oil, the piston rings is performing. The spark got a lot of details to tell you guys. So the more you pay attention to every detail about the sparks, I think that is a very good thing you need to look out for when you're trying to purchase a car for someone. if it can be able to allow you to pull a plug out of it, the plug will have a lot of detail to give you how fuel efficient the car is, how good the combustion system is going, how good the piston rings are, and possibly the compression strokes, you know. Okay, so with this information, I believe you can give the owner go ahead. With me, as a kind of a person I am, when I look at how intact the engine is and looking at the mileage that it got, when he asked me, should he buy this car? The answer I was giving every now and then is yes, 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 go ahead. He was telling me have a problem with the tail light. I say go ahead. He was telling me have a problem with the driving shaft somewhere here. I say go ahead. He was telling me that the car, when it cranks, when it starts the first time, it starts misfiring. I say go ahead. That is how a very good mechanic gives you assurance on buying a car, because he knows exactly how expensive those ones are and how to fix them. Okay, if this information help you to fix your car or to redo it, to solving your problem, share with your friends, do the right thing. I'll catch you guys later. Bye for now.